Yeah, it's Cal.
I'm pretty sure I have a few.
I know. I see you on Facebook like all over the country. It's great.
It is. Oh, that was one of the, that was maybe the best, not one of the best. Yeah.
There's a lot of, you never get a level line. Not even close.
You want water on top of this.
Yeah.
That makes it challenging.
Right? You think like, yeah, man, you can go up there. Like, what the hell is this? Or you know what I mean? I'm gonna hook in that guy's freaking liver.
That's right.
Larry needs to know when to go. So you told him.
Oh, the star of the show just showed up.
Are you having fun? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm done. Are you having fun? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm done.
Mr. Wills, please come to the front and take your seat. You're holding up my schedule.
He can do that now.
You can do it all the time. He's doing my mid-year on Tuesday. Thank you for, first I want to thank everyone for attending, for being here. We're here to honor 39 years of federal service for Larry and a whole host of achievements. And I'm not, well, first of all, I'm Cliff Byron. I shouldn't assume that you know who I am. I'm not the, I haven't been in the Postal Service the longest. I'm not sure that's Darrell Blackwell or not, but Darrell's pushing 40 years. I haven't worked with Larry the longest, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time speaking. There's a lot of people here that have a lot better knowledge than I do, and I promised that all the stories I've been telling for the last 15 years I will just leave unsaid. Now, I am going to take a little time to say one thing, and that was I'm going to tell you the secret of Larry's success. And I was talking to Larry last night, and we were talking, I hope they're not hoping there's be like some memorable speech, and we talked about some past retirements and some people who really had humorous and memorable things to say. I told Larry, don't worry about it. I will tell them the only thing they need to take from the meeting. And he probably doesn't remember this, but about 15, 16 years ago, I've been an employee for the Postal Service for maybe 2.5 years. And when all of us take a job, you start looking to see how to do the job. And you talk to your coworkers, you talk to your supervisor, maybe you talk to the people you're servicing. But I used to try to take a little further than that. I used to look for people who were successful. So Larry Wills was successful. He got things done. And I'm not real sure what it was that set me off to find out how to be successful. It may have been a meeting with the Raleigh IDSSC, but I came away feeling that I had to be something more. So I made an appointment, and I didn't work for Larry. I don't know that he even knew who I was, but he took the time and met with me. And I asked the question, how can you be successful in this organization? And everybody here is actually a part of his secret because it's relationships. Larry Wills established relationships. There are people in engineering that had complete confidence in him. He had complete credibility with him. The inspection service. There were groups in IT, maybe a little friction, but Larry had the relationships. He had the confidence. He had those people's trust. And that's been, he's told me this, it wasn't just 15 years ago. He kind of reminds me monthly, maybe more often, because it sounds simple, but in fact, it's not. It's not that simple to establish that trust, that confidence, gain that credibility. But I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Larry can expand on it further when it's his turn to speak. I'd like to introduce, let me put a little background in here. Wayne Grimes, who had the pleasure of hiring me, so if you have any complaints, go see him. Actually, go see Pat Dudley first, because he was my supervisor as a contractor. And then you go see him. But Wayne once said, as you move up in the organization, your view broadens. It's like looking out a first floor window. You see the problem. Yeah, I remember that, see? And, but as it's like as you move up, the window becomes wider. The view becomes a much broader view. And the person that's going to come up next is the one that has the broadest view of Larry's achievements and things over the last few years. And they've been a very tumultuous years. Things with huge impact on the Postal Service, tremendous changes, schedules, financial problems. So I'd like to introduce John Edgar, the Vice President of IT, and Larry's boss.
What a great turnout. There's a lot of faces haven't seen in a long time down here, and I think it's a tremendous reflection on Larry and his career and, as Cliff said, the relationships that he's built for so many of you to come back tonight to celebrate Larry's retirement. 38 years federal service, 34-ish with the Postal Service. That's a very long time in one organization, but when you look at what Larry's been able to do over that amount of time, it's hard to believe how much he's actually been responsible for transformation in the Postal Service over that time. You've done some of the largest programs in the Postal Service that have really helped position us to where we are today. For those of you who are currently in the building, when our CIO was down a couple weeks ago, we were talking about a lot of the new initiatives for big data and analytics and all these new scanning initiatives and all that. Well, none of those things would be possible if it wasn't for the work and the success that Larry's had over the last many number of years. The network we have today, it's all about the data. We always say everything's the network's fault. But the network is the core. It's the core of everything that we do. It moves all the data, it connects all our buildings, it connects all our computers, our new mobile devices. And Larry's responsible for putting that in place. And that, that is the foundation of the Postal Service. And in many ways, to me, it's kind of reflective on where Larry sits within the organization. That he's the foundation of IT, and stuff that he's been doing over these years. The programs around the network, the delivery confirmation program, the ACE-1, ACE-2, ACE-3, going all the way back to the original Dream Team. The things that have been done and those accomplishments are really the foundation for where we are and where the organization is able to move to. And we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for the effort and the success that Larry brought. The relationships, as Cliff said, to that are obviously how he's been able to get that done. I think as in some of the later presentations, you'll hear some of the thoughts from people elsewhere in the organization in terms of what he's meant to that. Larry's been the bedrock of IT. He's been tremendous support to people in the field all across the country. Earned tremendous respect from the folks everywhere out in the organization moving the mail. And really he's been able to do that in a way that fosters a tremendous relationship among our teams. Makes all of us want to work with Larry, and we have it's tremendous respect that we all have for him and for what he's been able to do in the organization. Those programs are things that obviously weren't easy. They were very large. Putting a network in place that connects roughly 40,000 facilities at peak, that's big by any standards. And being able to do that and operate it effectively, and as Larry likes to refer to himself as the cheapest man in the Postal Service, do it that cost effectively.
Cheers to
That's a tremendous over here. And in many ways, Larry, you've made what we do here in the telecommunications area kind of the envy of the industry, because as you know, we've had other agencies, other companies come ask us how we do it and how we've been able to manage the network as well as we have and as cost effectively as we have. And I think that really it's just a tremendous reflection on what you've been able to accomplish. You've done it the right way. Obviously, the fact that you have the people coming back here today to recognize you and to celebrate your retirement is a tremendous reflection on that. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much for everything you've done. It's been, let me back up. That's one other thing. It's kind of coming back full circle. You've been up in Washington 2 days this week for AOI. I think that was the very first time I actually met you. It was back in 1995 when you were starting to roll that out. And the fact that that's still out there and still being dealt with, I think that also is a reflection on how you get things done. You see it through to the end, and you're seeing AOI through to the end 19 years later. Anyway, so I want to thank you for everything. In a whole different set of roles, we worked together for a long time, and you have been tremendously supportive, always got done everything that was necessary, just a real partner and a friend, and we will miss you very, very much in this organization, and we wish you and your family all the best in your retirement.
Our next speaker is someone else who's worked with Larry for many years. In the end, that's really what it's all about. It's not just service in a couple of buildings. It's service to the people that deliver mail, people that process the mail. And Cheryl was the one that kind of kept those people moving. So, Cheryl?
Well, when I decided to come celebrate Larry's retirement, which I'd always planned on doing, I really wasn't planning on getting up here and talking. However, I'm very honored that the field has asked me to present to Larry some of their remarks for what he has done for them over the years. There are people in your career that make a mark. You will never forget them, and you will talk about them at meetings and happy hour, years after they retire. Larry is one of those people. We will be talking about him for many years, all good, of course. Larry has been a part of our lives through our careers for many years. His retirement marks an achievement and milestone in his life that is worthy of recognition and celebration. Many here in this room and in the field have Larry to thank for their careers in IT, oftentimes being the manager that first hired them into IT, or he gave them the experience that got them the promotion that they wanted. He helped to guide them and mentored them to the positions that they have in IT today. From 42 to over 34,000. When we started, there were only 42 sites in the field that were on the network when Larry started working in telecom services, and today there are over 34,000. Under his guidance and leadership, we watched the network and services grow and expand further and further in the field. Not even Walmart can say they've accomplished what USPS IT has over the past 35 years. UPS and FedEx don't even come close to the size and features of our network that Larry helped build. We are proud to have been Larry's partners in the field to accomplish this. Larry has worked beside us and guided us through some of the most challenging efforts in the USPS IT history. Gold Tape, AOI, VSAT, PBX key system expansions, Profit Line, Prime, Blackberries, ACE, ACE2, ACE3, and now all of the last mile tools with wireless everywhere. These are just some of the huge efforts with thousands of sites, thousands and thousands of devices, and millions of dollars saved and invested in our infrastructure. Many IT professionals in private industry will never face these kinds of challenges or have these experiences, and we were fortunate to be a part of it, with Larry as our partner and leader. It is through Larry's expertise and dedication that CIO IT leaders have the network and services needed today in the field for the last mile tools, and the foundation that they will need for the future of the Postal Service technology in the field. We feel that Larry is one of the IT managers who truly has saved millions for the Postal Service. Larry did just that over the years with his approach to our contracts and the way he managed those huge projects. It is staggering to think about all those zeros. As all of these efforts rolled in the field, Larry has always been there as our trusted, reliable, steady big brother. He listened, he responded, he cared. He has always been there for us, especially when Cliff would say no. They wrote this down. No, the field cannot have any money. No, we don't need the field to do this. No, the field cannot have any rights. I remember these conversations. Larry was the calm, steady voice of reason and sanity to help us get what we needed to get the job done. Of course, we always had to be prepared to explain to him why we needed what we needed, especially if it involved spending money. He has a reputation for being kind of frugal. In addition to all the work, Larry was also there with us to celebrate and have some fun. All the Field User Council meetings and happy hours in the good old days during Gary Weatherington's tenure, the meeting in Chicago especially stands out in our mind as a great one. Going to Ed, I'm probably going to mess this one up, Ed Debovic's? All right, and watching Bob Najman in pure heaven at Maggiano's with all that wonderful food. Goat dressing in Dallas, line dancing with us, having a beer or two, or more, showing off his cowboy boots at meetings, wearing his red Santa cowboy hat, and giggling along with us when Bob Otto had the Marilyn Monroe impersonator sing happy birthday to him while sitting on his lap. Priceless, we'll never forget it. Larry has also been there for many of us through challenging and sad times in our personal lives. He has jumped on airplanes to be with some of us when events happened, and we thought our personal lives were crashing down around us. If he didn't jump on an airplane, he got on a phone call to make sure that we were okay. He is a wonderful example of a manager that puts people first. The work is important, but not as important as us. Whatever we needed for our health or our families came first, and he always understood. We want to thank Larry's family, especially Kathy, for sharing him with us all these years. We know we often interrupted your dinner, evenings, weekends, and holidays with our crises for what we felt was a crisis. And his handy-dandy trusty BlackBerry was always on, and I know Kathy wanted to throw it certain places many times. Did you once? Okay, I was thinking maybe you did. But we'd get an email reply and know that he was on it and going to take care of it for us. Larry has been a dedicated IT manager to us for many years, and that required personal sacrifices from him with time away from his family and interruption in their lives. For that, we are grateful and appreciate the Wills family's patience and understanding. Kathy, please accept our gift of flowers for you as a token of our appreciation for sharing Larry with us all these years. Larry, thank you, thank you, thank you for the thousands of emails, hundreds of telecons, all the airplane trips to come see us when we needed you, and all of your support for the field over the years. We've made some great memories together. We will always remember who took us from 42 to 34,000 and what it took to get there. You will always have a special place in our hearts. We wish you all the best for a long, happy, healthy retirement filled with blessings and adventures. Your friends from Field IT and the Field IT program managers. And my personal thank you to Larry, because he's one of my best friends.
The times have changed. Cheryl mentioned, going from 40, 50 sites to 34,000. The network really, probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, was a convenience in many cases. We lost the site, we lost the post office. It's a little bit of inconvenience. PAWS kept going, mail processing kept going. And over, between that 2001 time frame and probably, 2000 or 2010, 2011, that all changed. It all changed, and the network became essential. If a post office drops off the network today, the postmaster has to go out on the door and put a sign and say, sorry, we're not taking credit or debit cards. And the mail doesn't run. So many things don't happen. And the next person that's going to come up, the next presenter or speaker, was part of that transition and also had the broad view because he sat in the same position that John Egger sits in today. And that's Bob Watt. So, Bob?
You think I have a loss for words, right?
Never.
Yeah, I believe that too. You look out and
I see friends and people who remind me of projects, successes, and teamwork. And when you leave the Postal Service, Larry, that's what you got, memories. Memories of the things that you accomplished, the people you met. And then you close that door and you move on. And you find that there's other things in life that you can do. And people like you and me will be replaced, and maybe they won't be as good, but you know, they're going to try hard and they're going to do their job. And Larry, you know, I can tell you this is that, you know, that as consultants, we can help them. 6.5 years, I haven't given my business card to anybody postal. I just don't believe that I need to be a salesman. But you know, there's some really great people here, and we all grew up. Larry and I grew up in the Postal Service. Spent about 25, 30 years, and I was on the application side, and Larry was on the infrastructure and network side. And, you know, we were mentored by some really great people who are gone today, and you know, those people helped us. And I like the thing about somebody talking about me sitting on stage and Marilyn Monroe sitting on my lap. That was kind of a thrill, but you know, fact is I never got her number. So. And when I started as the CIO, Vice President, CTO, who cares what the title was, but I think I killed that AOI program. I know I did consolidate some of those facilities, and you know, but what goes around comes around. And when we were younger, and we were working on EAM equipment, which today is the size of a head of a rice, and it's a chip. You know, and I was in rooms where they had 360-20s, and you know, I took the whole room, and today that's on some little handheld. You know, everything has just changed, but. You know, when people like this come out, it's because you care about the person, because they touched your life. And you realize it's not they're here to roast Larry. We're here to appreciate and tell you that everything you did, man, was, you know, was top notch. You know, I wrote it. You know, when you go to somebody's retirement, you don't want to screw it up, so you write a speech. So I wrote a speech, and the sad part about this is I forgot my glasses. So I'm going to have to make it up.
I got some.
You like that? I don't think they'll work, okay? But, you know, over the years, I thought that, you know, that things would get easier in technology. They don't. And I really, the things that we had to deal with back in the beginning, connecting things, and today, now, they want applications in days. I mean, for people like John Edgar and Jimmy Cochran, you know, this is tough stuff. You know, and you lose good people, like the Dream Team. You guys remember who you are? Yeah. And you know, and people like Larry, when you lose that, it's hard to fill that. Inside, outside, it's tough. We accomplished a lot. In 2005, we pulled together this document. It was a 6-fold. It was called IT, 40 Years of Innovation and Successes. And it was really an eye-opening adventure for all of us to see everything that we had done in the Postal Service from the beginning, the last 40 years. And a lot of those 40 years, like I hate to say, but there's a lot of people in this room here that helped do that, and you and I did too as well. And I'm real proud of that. And when I go meet with a lot of customers and other federal agencies, I'm very proud of the Postal Service, because I know what we've done, I see what they've done, and you know, it's a tribute to the people. And you know, you can have leadership, but leadership only goes so far. I can tell you to take the hill, but it takes people to take that hill and to do it in the right way. So everyone has a characteristic about Larry. I have 3 characteristics about Larry. You know, the first one is he's cheap, and you know, and he's damn proud of it too. You know, and the nice thing about this with Larry is, and I'd be sitting in these meetings where Larry would bring in Verizon and Cisco and HP and all these others that are probably in this room tonight, and he would bring them in and he'd say to them, I'm gonna put out this RFP. And I have to tell you, you're gonna have to bring your prices down. And, you know, and he did. And every time he shaved a penny off, it meant hundreds of millions of dollars for the Postal Service. And I could stack you up against anyone across the Postal Service in the last 30 years, excluding me. You saved a lot of money. And I know that you're only second to me in saving money, but truly, you know what you saved in that. You're a real true professional. When you look at something, it's not personal to you. And you're doing the work for the good of the Postal Service, and then IT, and then you're last. I used to tell you, Larry, shift your priorities. Make me look good first, and then make IT look good, and then Postal. But he never would do it. But he truly is a professional, and everything he does has a lot of integrity, and you know, that's really important. But I think the last thing, it's hard to tell people this, but he grew up and like it's not unsimilar to a lot of us, but his word meant everything. So if he said that something was going to be done, it was going to be done. If he said he was on it, he was on it. You know? So, those are 3 things that you know, I remember about Larry, and you know, today I would say I've been gone 7 years, and he's the same. He would do the same thing because that's part of his DNA. I can tell you that Larry and I didn't agree on everything, and you know, we would talk about projects, and we would talk about how we're going to approach it, and then after a while we would come to agreement. But I got 2 stories I'm going to tell about Larry. The first one is I brought Larry into my office one day when I was in Washington in charge. Larry's sitting in the chair, and I told Larry, I don't want you to be the manager of Network anymore. Larry about fell out of the chair. He thought I fired him. I really wasn't firing Larry. And so he spent maybe 10, 15 minutes telling me that he was the best person for Network. He knew it. And that we'd be taking a big step backwards, and quite frankly, that it was a dumbass idea for me to do it. So I intently listened to Larry, and you know, we kept talking and talking and talking, and I told Larry that I agreed with everything he said, but the fact was I wanted him to do something else. I wanted him to be known for more than just Network, which everybody had typecast him into for 20 years. He had skills beyond Network, and I wanted him to be in charge of ACE and the Dream Team. And he reluctantly, but did take the job, and the rest is history. And he's got to deliver. We wouldn't have the infrastructure in the Postal Service today if it wasn't for people like Larry and Wayne and a few others. And Larry did deliver. I changed your life for the better by taking you out of Network and doing that, and I'm proud, damn proud of that. You don't have to laugh. When you get over 60, you don't give a shit. I have these millennials that work for me today, and you know, all I can tell you is they can't get from point A to point B, but they're sharp. The second story I want to tell is, and I can tell some really roasting stories, but I'm going to tell this one about Kathy, his wife. I feel it's only appropriate that, you know, you get the other half, all right? So, I know you know that, or remember that, you know, back when I was still here, there was money. Seemed to be money. Anyway, so every quarter we would go to the site, just like we're all here, and we bring all the managers, and thought that was a great way to let the site see all the managers in IT. And so we come here to this site, and we go to some place, I think it's called the Red Horse, or Red Barn or something, restaurant. And as usual, I'm late for the the event. I'm coming in and I'm just wanting to get a beer, and Kathy is in my face, real quick. And she's telling me what a bad person I am. And what a bad manager I am, because I'm requiring Larry to work 7 days a week. On vacations, if you all remember the auto vacation, you're always on your BlackBerry and your laptop.
4 a.m. calls.
Yes, 4 a.m. calls. Yes, it was nothing for me to call you at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night and say, your system's down, please get in. All right? But so she's telling me all this stuff, and honestly, when she's done, I'm saying to somebody, don't set me near that lady. And so they didn't set me in the middle of the table, they set me over at the corner. And so everybody's looking at me a little awkward, like I'm a leper or something. And I'm like, I don't want to sit near her anymore. I did hear you, Kathy. And I can tell you this, I really took it to heart for about 10 minutes. Okay? I would tell you this, I want to bring this back full circle to Larry and his dedication as being a professional. I could have told Larry to only work 8 hours a day. I could have told Larry, don't work on Saturdays or holidays or on your vacation. Larry wasn't going to listen to me. It was in his DNA. He loves to work. He loves his job. There's people in this room here who love your job. It wasn't a job. It was a career. And you enjoyed everything you did. And you started at 7 in the morning. Before you knew it, it was 8 o'clock at night. And there was still a lot to be done. And Kathy, I wasn't the one that did that. He did that. And for all of you who are still working at the Postal Service, I would tell you that, you find yourself at the Postal Service, you just love the place. And, you can get addicted to it before you know it. It's got you sucked in. And, I can remember that when I was getting ready to retire, I kept thinking about, well, maybe I shouldn't retire. There's so much more to do. There'll always be so much more to do. And, Larry, I would tell you that I drove down here 5 hours. Not because I had to drive down here 5 hours. I drove down here because I love you. I love what you did for me, what you did for IT, and what you did for the Postal Service. And, the Postal Service is better for it because of you. And, right now in your gut, right now in your gut, your heart's, broken because you're thinking, I'm leaving a place I love. And, I don't know what's behind the next door. And maybe I should stay another 3 months or 6 months or, and do these things, but you know when it's time. And you need to decide and you move on. And there'll always be someone who takes our place, and there'll always be someone who'll do the best they can. The only advice I can give to John Edgar is whatever you do in replacing Larry, because everybody would call Larry, is name the next person Larry. I mean, whoever you put in there, just tell them they got to change their name to Larry. Right? So, life will go on, and all the people in here care for you, worked with you, love you, and I can only say this, that you made my life better. I looked really good as a CIO, and I took credit for a lot of things, but the fact is I knew that you and others did the work, and I'm so blessed for having known you, and thank you very much.
I know that the performance management team members in the audience are tracking my project plan. And I know that they realize that I'm a little bit behind schedule. But I'm going to show velocity, the rapid exploitation of a belatedly realized opportunity. So I'm going to abandon my schedule.
For those of you who remember me, good seeing you again. For those of you who don't, Larry's son. Didn't see my name on the pamphlet, thought I was off the hook. But, thanks, Mom. I wasn't there with them. Y'all were. You're the ones who worked with them. All I can speak to is living with the man and being raised by the man. And we always knew that he was busy. He was always a hard worker. It was never questioned. He was fair at home too. He'd ask you to do something, you do it. You didn't, he tell you to do it. He told you again, you did it rapidly before your life ended. But it was fair, it was laid out. But we always knew he worked all the time, he was on the phone all the time, but he'd always find, Saturday morning, first thing, after working all week, he's up mowing the yard. Hour and a half of yard work with loud power tools. I like it spent right underneath my window. I think it was his way of saying, get up, but I'm gonna head to sleep. There were certain things that was instilled. Good enough does not compute with my father. It's not in his vocabulary. Can't tell you how frustrating it is to be a 28-year-old man with a full-time career and still hear your dad's voice in the back of your head and you do something and you know it can be done better and you're thinking, that's good enough. And you hear him in the back, shit, just, no, it's not. Keep going. If you're going to do it, you better do it. It's impossible to live up to the man's standards. I tried, I quit. I've learned I'm never going to work as hard as my father does, but if I can do half of what he does, I'm still going to be at the top of the stool, so I'll be okay. Certain things that we've learned from, the family learned from, the children learned from them. If you give your man his word, if you give your man your word, you say you're going to do something, you better do it. And if you're going to do it, it better be done right. And I've learned that that's all I have to follow. All the speeches, everything else, it doesn't matter. I follow those rules that he laid out for me, and I'll be successful. And that's all on him. I'm not going to stand up here a long time, but he doesn't take compliments very well, and I love watching him squirm. But we knew if we were sitting after practice waiting for hours for him to come pick us up because he was on a conference call. We knew it was because he was busy. We knew it was because he was needed. And I'm glad somebody other than me brought up the cheap thing because I could not understand why my father drove a 1985 Ford Ranger for years. And this was late 90s. The car that he would get into and become a lowrider because it was not made for anyone to live in. But he did it, and I know why he did it. And he did it because
it worked.
But I will say this. We understand the hard work. We're eternally grateful for it. And you raised a family that never wanted for anything, always had what we needed, probably more than we ever deserved. And because of you, we didn't show it all the time, but believe me, on behalf of everyone, we love you for it, we appreciate it, and we just try to be somewhat as good as you are. We'll be all right.
Okay, so I'm back on schedule. Well, I'm not on schedule, but I'm back on the right track. We'll have the group of people that are dealing with all of the problems in IT. The team that Larry's a part of, the team that John's leading now in this time of tremendous change. The direct reports to John Anger when I come up, and they have a presentation to make. So.
I'm going to start out, Larry. I'm Robin Miller. Larry, I'm going to do the family side of this because I heard the life in stamps is very important to you. So we started out with the year you were born. I'm not going to say the year, but a stamp was 3 cents. Larry was born in Amarillo, Texas, and we used the Labor Day stamp because that's kind of sort of around when you were born, as far as the time of year. And then the next stamp is, the next 2 stamps, you were married to Kathy in Borger, Texas in 1983. And so we have the Texas Birds and Flowers stamp, which is the mockingbird and the iris. And we also have the 44-cent wedding ring stamp for when you got married. And then you have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. And so we gave you the 22-cent Love You Dad stamp. So that's the family stamp. Okay, next is Mr. Byrne.
Hi, I'm John Byrne, and I'm going to present the education military part of Larry's life. In 1975, Larry served in the United States Air Force. So that's represented by the 32-cent Thunderbirds Demonstration Squadron stamp, and also the 37-cent Northrop Grumman Flying Wing stamp. And then in 1981, Larry graduated from Amarillo College with a degree in electronic technology, and that's represented by the 6-cent Progress in Electronics stamp. And then in 1983, Larry graduated with a Bachelor's in Science and Industrial Technology from West Texas State University, and that's represented by a 4-cent Higher Education stamp, an 18-cent Professional Management stamp, and a 32-cent Texas stamp. Thank you, Larry.
I'm here to talk about Larry's career. In 1974, he started his postal career as a city carrier in Amarillo. I just want you to know that Larry told me that was the best job he had ever had. When he told me this, his face lit right up. As you know, he went to the Air Force, but he came back to be a mail handler, which spurred his education. He didn't want to do that for very long. So those are the 20-cent civil service stamp, the Texas Flag Forever stamp, and the 8-cent city carrier stamp.
Very hard stamp to get, the city carrier stamp.
Yeah, there's not that much. But those are very popular.
It's a very popular stamp, and so it's...
I think there's a lot of city carriers. In between, Larry went to St. Louis for just 1 year, and then he came on to Raleigh, North Carolina. I actually thought he was part of the St. Louis Mafia. Pat W, main crimes. But he started out in St. Louis, he told me, as an EAS 17 and worked his way up the ladder, all the way up. He came to Raleigh. This is just a little interesting stuff about Raleigh that I didn't know. When he came to Raleigh, the South Building was an old house, overgrown. Yep. Walmart was a bunch of trees with a dirt road running through it and a dump at the end of it. Yep. He once went down there to see what they were dumping. I don't know why. Curiosity. Very curious guy. In 1997, he was appointed to manager network operations in Raleigh. I believe this is when he took that job over from Ken Siglowski. I don't know if Ken is here, but Larry talked very much about what a great person Ken was to work for, that Ken had told him and his folks that he wasn't here to run the network, that Larry and the team were here to run that network. In 2001, he was appointed to manager enterprise access infrastructure, which is now Larry's position as our peer. He and John brought us out of the wilderness of a few years, something that we're eternally grateful to the two of them for, two great experiences. To commemorate that is the 43-cent North Carolina flag, the Postal Service stamp, the computer technology stamp, integrated circuit stamp. By the way, Larry originally started debugging circuits or network with an O-scope, and not so much today. And the World Wide Web, which Larry probably saw from its infancy to its current, blockbuster, world-changing event. So, thank you, Larry.
I'm Jerry Reynolds from Eagan, Minnesota, and I'm pleased to be here for Larry's retirement as well. I have the benefit or the opportunity, the honor of talking about his hobbies and associations. Larry, as much as he's all work, and we all know he's all work, actually has some external hobbies and associations. The first stamp that we get to talk about is a 33-cent stamp that is dedicated to youth team sports, and particularly baseball. Now, I understand that Larry has sponsored some events with the Mudcats. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to join that. When I saw this, I couldn't but help but think that Larry was interested not just in youth sports in terms of baseball, but of course, Kathy ran a dance studio for many years, and I'm sure he had many different recitals and cheerleading competitions that he had to attend as well. So, so Larry, congratulations on the. Well, anyway, the next one is the Forever stamp, the 2013 Forever stamp that we gave out for the PCI. It is a classic car stamp showing the 1966 Pontiac GTO. Now, you may not think of Larry as actually having an interest in classic cars, given that he's driven the 1985 Ford Ranger for many years. And I understand the clutch slipped. It was very difficult to learn to drive for those that had to drive it on a spur of the moment. But I lived through it. But many of us anyway, Larry does appreciate fine old automobiles. Last, the 33-cent stamp called the Light Spear Light, the Night Spear Light. Yeah, that's a tongue twister for me who has had a glass of wine. Anyway, it's representative of Larry's interest in handyman activities and woodworking. Now, I don't know how much of that is actually his pleasure in woodworking or his ability to be cheap and wanting to fix it himself. But, I'm sure it's a little bit of both. I've walked around the office and seen some very interesting construction projects that other people have done around the Raleigh office as well. So, finally, after his hobbies and associations, we get to talk a little bit about his retirement. We have included in here the 22-cent Best Wishes stamp. And of course, I'm speaking for all of us here, Larry. We wish you the best as you go on to future challenges. The last stamp on the plaque is a 44-cent stamp called Celebration. And when I saw the stamp, Larry, I thought of Tom Landry. Being a good old Texas boy, you remember Tom Landry and his hat? He was never known to smile even when he won the game. He came off the field looking the same, whether it was a win or a loss. And I think, Larry, all the years I've known you, I rarely see you come off the field with that big smile on your face. But you've, just like Tom Landry, I think you finally won the Super Bowl, and you can now celebrate. You can come off the field with a smile.
John, would you come up? On behalf of your colleagues too, Larry, we also would like to mention Mark, because I know he would like to be here too. But this is an appreciation for your contributions to the Postal Service. And John has some things as well.
Correct moment.
Anybody else?
I'm just trying to figure out what story to tell, Larry. I got a lot of them. I'm going to go back when I was a postal inspector. A lot of people know I was out traveling the country, doing audits at post offices all over the place. And one trip we went to Pikesville, Kentucky. And there's, if you've ever been down there, there's the Big Beaver River and the Little Beaver River. And it was in February, it was flooded. So you basically had no GPS then. This was whenever. So struggling to try to find where the post office was. And you drive around, you count the curves on the map and all that kind of stuff. And I just gave up. Finally, I pulled over the gas station and said, I'm looking for Pikeville, Kentucky. Can you tell me where it is? And they said, well, see that railroad track? Trestle, I'm sorry? Goes across the Big Beaver River, and it was flooded. The water was like 1 foot below it. And this was actually in 1975, to be honest with you. So I had a Victor manual adding machine, and I had my briefcase in my left hand. There was no rail on this railroad trestle. The water was running 100 miles an hour underneath it. And I started walking across the railroad trestle, stupid me, you know. Walking and walking and walking. It was a long way over. About halfway over, I hear this toot toot, toot toot, and I'm toot tooting too. Literally, I am running and running and running and running. I finally get across just as the train's coming, and I jumped on McKinnon, thinking that the train is going to come across the trestle. Well, it didn't. It went straight. So I made it to this post office, and back then, you know, you counted every penny, every nickel, every dime of their money drawer to make sure they weren't hiding money and all that kind of stuff. So, but I remember one thing that happened on this trip, that every time people labeled you cheap, I was hoping that you would have been with me on this trip, because this one guy had 5 big coffee cans of pennies. And I'm thinking, I have no idea how in the world I'm going to count all those pennies to reconcile his stamp stock and, you know, permanent imprint and all that kind of stuff. So he said, well, you know, there's a postal inspector here last year doing the same thing you're doing, which I don't know why you're here again. So he showed me how to count 50 of them and put them on a scale. It was like a pound. Add another 50, it's 2 pounds. So we basically weighed them. But every time people say that you're thrifty, I think, God, I wish Larry would have been here, because he would have counted every one of those pennies. So there's another dispute that I want to make about his reputation of being thrifty, because he didn't learn that on his own. Rumor has it that Kathy's been known to wander around Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning looking at, well, they didn't have blue light specials, that was Kmart. But she was shopping. Right, Kathy? Come on, tell me the truth. Is it right? So for all the credit you've gotten tonight for being cheap, we know who trained you. So, the other point is, everybody's been talking about what you've accomplished. And Larry and I are good friends. He helped me out so much through my career. I think I helped him out as well. We worked together very well. We were honest with each other. You know, we talked all kinds of issues. He really was the person that I turned to if I had somebody I needed to talk to. So, congratulations on your retirement, but I'm not finished. If I can compose myself. What I want to talk about is, from this point forward, you and I have talked about this a lot. And I had a plan when I finally did retire. And that plan was to stay active, mentally, physically, emotionally. And if you can find a passion, I found photography and golf. And I am totally consumed with it, like I was consumed when I was working. But you know that we love you to death, we want you to live forever. and you just can't go sit on the couch, which I know that's not you to do. You can go down to Mexico with us next year, or go down to whatever. We're waiting for you to do that if we can get Kathy to ever slow down. So, from my heart to your heart, literally, I love you, man. Congratulations.
Larry and I have known each other for years. You know, what can I say? I mean, the first time I met him, we moved down here together. He knocked on my door about, I don't know, maybe it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I open up the door, I'm in I forgot Residence Inn or something. He's like, "What's up, bud? What you doing today? It's a Saturday, right?" I said, "Well, nothing." So he goes, "Well, why don't you come along with me?" We go get all the sheetrock. The next thing I know, I'm helping him build his well, I'm not helping him because I can't, bind the nails straight. But I'm moving the sheetrock. He found me, he got me to do that. But the good thing was, he fed me. And then after that, he and Kathy, whenever Heidi was gone someplace, they would feed me. I could go over to their house, and they would always feed me. We always had arguments. He was the ultra-conservative, I was the flaming liberal. I was always right, he was always wrong. But we always had a good time. We worked together for years, and the good thing about it was, he was, I've always told him, I said, look, at one point when he became a manager, I said, I have to work for you. I always want you to be my friend. So while I'm working for you, I'll learn how to separate, you being the boss and me being a friend. Now that he is retired, we gonna have a good time. We will get together. We always go to baseball games in the summertime. Hopefully we can continue to do that. And we get Kathy to go this time, But I'm happy for you, Larry. We had a great ride. I mean, we had good times. I could tell you stories. I could stay up here for hours, but you wouldn't want to hear them anyway. So, Larry, congratulations.
I really feel like the new kid on the block. These retired people worked with Larry for 20, 30 plus years, so I'm the new kid. Met Larry probably, when was ACE 1? Completed 2001-ish, that time frame, I'm not sure. But he came out, and I was from the field. I was a little lowly field IT guy, and Bob Otto had done the little Triple Crown, and our portion we had finished first. So that was the big bonus, is that the executive came out and gave an award. And the guy comes out with cowboy boots and a suit. It's a good old boy. But from the field's perspective, the people in Raleigh are, when you put the whole ACE and the gold tape days all together, they were the IT gods, so to speak. I mean, they run the network. They built the network. They administer and control. And the field IT had gone from kind of that role within your own little district to, well, let's see, backups are done remotely, the upgrades are done remotely. I guess we're going to just change the tape, and, for my...
Got rid of those, too.
Got rid of those, So, but only 5.5 years ago, Larry took a risk on me and promoted me and brought me out to Raleigh. And, it's this little guy out of Spokane, Washington. What was that? It's not even a district anymore. But I appreciate it, and Larry has been, like everybody has said, a straight shooter. He'll tell you straight. Doesn't matter what you want to talk to him about. He's been a mentor, a friend. The stories you'll hear of Larry taking his weekends to help somebody with their car, with their, you know, build a house or whatever, you know. It's not just this executive boss up there, you know, he's a real person, and it puts a whole new light, and I think the field knows it. I think that everybody you touch, everybody who works, that's the story you keep hearing over and over. And I thank you, and we're all going to miss you, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, Robert.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess I'm here from somewhat of a little different perspective in that Larry and I really haven't worked directly together from an operational standpoint over the years, but we kind of indirectly worked together on some major projects like ACE, Prime. I mean, those were painful projects because when you walked into headquarters, you kind of walked into me because I represented what was a very interesting environment, might I say. And I'm sure Cheryl and Tim Whiteside and Larry and those of us and Gary, we felt that pain. And you know, when you come into headquarters, it's a different animal. And they always respected that, and they understood it, and they gave me the benefit of the doubt that they would approach me, and we worked together as a team to make it happen. And from that, it all evolved throughout the rest of the country. And I've always appreciated the fact that they always respected and understood and gave me the opportunity to give my input for my vision and what I saw, and they understood it and it worked well. And I guess within the last year and a half or so, I mean, Larry's been one of, I'm in this unique situation where I probably had about 5 managers in the last 5 years, like every year it evolves. And that's okay, and we deal with it. But I never really saw Larry as being a boss or a manager. I saw him as being a co-worker. And that's the relationship we've had. We talked. There were problems, there were situations, we dealt with it, and we worked it out. Some of those things were very difficult because, again, you know, you're dealing with what's necessary, you're dealing with the politics, and you're dealing with the financial side of it. And you got to kind of find that happy medium where it all works out right. And working with Larry, sometimes I just look at some of his writings that he would send me emails every once in a while. I studied the emails, and I look at who it's sent to, and I look at what was said and all this stuff. And I will send him something, he will come back and will be so creative, and I said, now what did he say? But all that, I understood it. You know, he sent the right message. And all that being said, I'll say that at the end of the day, he has a lot of integrity, and I respect him. And Larry, I appreciate all the time we work together, be it working for you as you'll be my manager and all the other projects and significant things that happened along the way. And I thank you, and I wish you well in your retirement.
Not to harass you. So, no, I'm serious. The one thing I keep hearing over and over is that my husband has integrity.
And he does.
That is the reason I married him. I was working 4 jobs, putting myself through college with a family that could not support me. He was working full-time at night, raising 2 children full-time during the day. He's the only person I knew that could keep up with me. I fell in love with his children, who called me Miss Kathy for the first year of their life. And then when I announced that I would be their mother, they were overjoyed. I'm thrilled to call Heather and Jennifer my children, and I adopted them. so they are legally my children. My husband has the most wonderful work ethic that I have ever known in my life. He's the only one I honestly know that could match me. I love teaching. Teaching is teaching other people to be what you think they can be, to finding things that they do and expanding upon them. And that my husband doesn't realize it, but he does that too. And that's why we click, because he does it unknowingly. Gina, Marvin, how many episodes and discussions. The other Marvin, we love you to death. And Elizabeth in St. Louis, the first people that we met, Elizabeth and Tom, my best friends forever. So many family members, Cheryl and Tim, who, when I could never calm Lance down, I would hand Lance to Cheryl and instantly he would be fine. It never ceases to frustrate me, but, you know, so many family members through the Postal Service. And even Bob, who wouldn't dance with me, which, by the way, you owe me a dance tonight, FYI. The Postal Service has been our family. Dave Buckingham, and how many oysters did we eat at Dave Buckingham's and Steve Winningham's? Oh my gosh, it was like, throw the kids in the back seat, let's go to Steve's, we're having oysters tonight, y'all go upstairs and play in the barber's chair or whatever, and we'll have a good time. That's what the Postal Service was a family. And that's what I miss most nowadays, is the family part of it, because and everybody that's here, you are our family, and you're Larry's family, and he knows that. And every single person sitting in this chair tonight is our family. I was taught at a very young age that your family is not bloodborne. Your family is who you love, who you share time with, and who you respect. You are all who Larry respects, and I know that. If I say anything to you at all, is that, and I know he won't say it, but I will say it for him, is that he has loved his time at the Postal Service. He has respected you all. And the greatest regret that he has is that he can't be there to protect you in the future. So what I'm going to say from my heart is, respect yourself. Stand up for yourself and carry on, because that's what he would want. Thank you. I've been told by Cliff that I need to introduce my family, which I'm thrilled to do. I have my oldest daughter, Heather Murphy. Second to oldest grandson, Brody Maroney. I have my son, Lance Wills, which you met. I have my youngest daughter, Chelsea Wills, with her daughter Chelsea in Heather's arms, and my new son-in-law, James Forbes III, which I'm very proud of. I have my sister, Tamara Bush, with her husband, Jim Bush, who actually works for the Postal Service also, but he's now gone on to other things. And I have my adopted son, Mike Lyle, who is Lance's roommate. And that is my family that is with us tonight. Thank you.
Y'all have to come up here and take a picture. I've been told. Come on.
Good stuff to Larry. Anything you want to say to Larry, Cheryl?
Hey Larry, we told you we'd be here for your retirement. Sorry it's just me, but I'm here.
didn't think you would go so soon, but I wish you the very best.
Hi, Larry. We love you and we'll miss you. Enjoy every moment of it.
Hey, you're not that
See you around town.
Hey Larry, it's Ralph Selma at AT&T, in case you forgot. It's been a huge pleasure working with you. I remember one of the first times we met, walked into your office and had to tell you the OC-48 was down. And I had the shakes for a long time before I walked in, but I got over it. We got past that. So have a great retirement.
Hi, Larry. Gosh, you're going to be missed by everybody, even though I didn't have the pleasure of working with you. But boy, are you a good bowler. Love and kisses. Wish you the best.
Hey, Larry, it's Beth and Andy, and I just wanted to say thank you for taking me back, just for making my career wonderful, and you gave me a lot of opportunities that I never thought I would have, and I love you and Kathy, and just best wishes to both of you, and enjoy that retirement. And also I have a little message from Jan Casio. She couldn't make it, but she gave the same sentiments. She's just thought you were always just a great person to be able to come to when she had a problem, and that would be handled discreetly. We all love you, and I just want to thank you again.
Enjoy the brisket. Take care.
Hi, Larry. This is Tom. I remember you from when you came out of the little cornfields of Texas, and you were thrust into the poor postal data processing world. And I think I am very proud of what you turned out to be. Yeah. How far you've gone. Congratulations on your retirement.
Hi Larry, this is Ilsa. I want to say congratulations on your retirement. I appreciate working for you, the support, the direction. It's been a pleasure. And it's been 11 years, so that's amazing too. Thanks.
Start. You gotta say something nice about Dad. Yeah.
Now, anytime.
Hey, babe, you've been great. It's been a wonderful 30 years. I'm glad you're taking a break.
Thanks for everything. Enjoy the night. Hope you start another job soon so you don't have to spend all your time with Mom.
Congratulations, Daddy. We love you very much. We're very proud of you. I don't know life without the Postal Service, so this will be interesting for all of us. Love you.
You're a fantastic grandfather, and I still think you work for the FBI. He's a grandfather? He's that old? Oh my gosh.
Hi, Dad. Thanks for everything you've done for me through all the years, and I'm so proud of you. I'm glad you're finally getting to relax and get some time off.
How you doing, Larry? I'm proud of you. I'm thankful to be your son-in-law. I'm thankful to be part of the family.
Hey Larry, just want to say once again, congratulations. It's a pleasure meeting you. The three things that ring true that you always said was don't ever lie, say what you're gonna do, and do it when you say you're gonna do it. And we try to live by that. And I appreciate the time you spent with us. And good luck in your future endeavors.
Hey Larry, you probably don't remember this, but this is the mid-'80s, my first conversation with you. I was new to IT, and I got on the phone with you, and you helped me install some Wellington router. I think that was the name of it. But being new to IT, I had to make a list of people I could depend on. You were the first one on that list. And I put underneath your name, he really cares. Thank you, sir. I love it.
Well, Larry, I'm sorry I didn't get to stand up and talk to everyone in front of me, but I want to have something to say to you from my heart to you. I loved working with you. You were a great role model for me, and I look at our time together as a real privilege, and I wish you the best in your retirement with you and your family.
Larry, good luck in your retirement. Remember, it's not the end, it's just the beginning of a new adventure.
Well,
Hello there, Larry. It's been a long ride. Had a lot of fun along the way. Fought with you most of the time, and you always thought you were right, but you know I was right. So you probably think the same thing. But anyway, I think you're gonna wake up in about 2 weeks, and you're gonna wonder, where do I go? So you can talk to Wayne and the other guys who went before you, and hopefully they can take you out for a beer and help you with that struggle, because the Postal Service becomes such a big part of your life that it's definitely like a death in the family. So good luck, and I know you'll be successful at whatever you do.
Hey, Mr. Wills, I want to tell you one thing. I appreciate our friendship, appreciate you working with me, mentoring me, and all of the great things you did. You know, we got almost 30 years together ourselves, but I wish you the best for you, your family, and of course, don't forget, when you get this, we should have had lunch at least once, but if not, we'll have two in the place of one. Have a good one, buddy. God bless.
All right. Larry, you've been the best. You took a big chance on me in 1998. You promoted me. You stood by me during some really tough times. I really appreciate that. You were the best. I hope you believe that I gave you 110% because I always did. You did a lot, and I did it because I liked to do it. I don't think I'm cut from the same cloth as you because I couldn't work as many hours as you did. I hope you're satisfied with the job I did for you, and thank you for being a mentor and a friend to me. Good luck, Larry. Enjoy your retirement.
Larry, congratulations. Wish you much luck. Look forward to fishing with you. You have to get up to DC. Have a great time, and thank you for everything you've done with and for me in the past. I appreciate it, Larry. Thanks.
Larry, thank you very much for everything you have done. The last 18 months have been great because of you, and I wish you the best. I know you'll be successful in whatever you take on next, and just remember, it's a mission. Bye.
Hey Larry, this is your retirement night. This is a great night for you and your family. I'm just remembering something you told me years ago about how the mail handlers out in the plants couldn't change their gloves until they had 2 or 3 fingers on each hand taped up. And that's why it was important for us to be thrifty with our money and think about how we were spending it. You've been great here. I'm going to miss you like crazy. I'm going to miss you like crazy. I'm going to miss you forever. Bye-bye.
Larry, like I said, man, we got to get together, have some fun. It's been great working with you and working for you. And I hope you have a great time in retirement. Give me a call when you get a chance. Take care.
Hi, Larry. Just wanted to congratulate you on this huge accomplishment. We're so happy to be here tonight to help you celebrate. And just want to let you know I have so many fond memories of you growing up and Kathy babysitting Chris and I. And most of all, I'm so thankful for your friendship with my dad. I know that you would have wanted to be here tonight to celebrate with you, and I knew he would have had a lot of stories to tell. I wish I could tell you, or tell everyone them in his absence, but just want to congratulate you again, and thank you for everything that you've done. And thanks so much for your kindness to Drew and I when we moved out here, and just will never forget you and Kathy's kindness to us. So best wishes, hope to see you soon, and take care.
Yeah, thanks. Congratulations on your retirement, and enjoy it. Thank you.
It's me and Jim Raycroft.
I could see That's me. I'm going to take you up on the scotch and shot glasses in your office tomorrow, so you bring the bagels.
That was hilarious. Great job.
Friday.
You did a great job. Friday, yeah.
Yes,
Saturday.
tomorrow Friday.
Okay.
That's what we do on Fridays.
I'll be there with the inspection service, Wayne Grimes, to check this out.
Talking to the camera?
We're going to do it. Okay. Have a nice retirement.
Enjoy.
That would be you.
Oh, you're ready. No, we don't want you to be quiet. There's so many distractions. I'm putting all this in, by the way. That's fine. Larry, I just wanted to say thank you personally for everything over the last, what I just realized was 19 years. You've just been a tremendous person to work with all that time. I've learned so much working with you, including one of your other good cost-cutting stories about when we have to cut costs by 10%, you want to know which 10 districts don't exist anymore. And I think so. I think that's always been one of your good lines, but I think it's certainly reflective of everything we have now. But again, I just want to say thank you very much. Personally, you've been tremendous to work with. Couldn't have asked for any better support or better friendship during those times, and wish you and your family all the best. Thanks, Larry.
Larry, I just want to say that I've really liked working with you. You've been a great person to work for and with, and I know you were instrumental in helping to get me, positioned down here, and I really appreciate that. And I hope you won't be a stranger.
Career day.
I wish you well in your next career, and I'm sure you'll be very successful at it. Congratulations and good luck.
Hey Larry, just wanted to say congratulations on your retirement. It's been great having you as a friend and a mentor. I appreciate everything that you've done over the last 9 years with me, especially being there during some of the hard times with my family. You've always been a great friend, and I just hope you and Kathy take this opportunity now to enjoy the rest of your lives and having fun and make that your passion in your career now is focusing on the family. God bless you both.
Hey Larry, you've been looking at this many years down the road. I'm sure you know, been great working with you. Learned something from you every time we were together, and certainly much better at doing my job because of everything I've learned from you. So congratulations, and again, thanks for everything. Best wishes. Okay, go ahead.
Hi Larry, we just want to say congratulations. We love you. We've enjoyed your company, your friendship, and we hope you have just the very best retirement ever.
Many beers together down the drain.
Hi Larry.
Hi Larry.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for being a great boss and a good friend, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, and we continually have good time together. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's a new phase in life. You know you won't slow down. It's not in your blood. That's okay. Enjoy it. Take it as a new chapter, but a new opportunity to enjoy, relax, and don't stress out. You're at a stage where you can continue to work hard, but not be stressed. Enjoy it. And have a beer.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hi Larry, I have a note from Neil Holiday, and it's please pass my congratulations on to Larry on his phenomenal career and upcoming retirement. I've known him beginning with his early days in St. Louis as a Com10 network technician to his rise to senior positions in Raleigh. Throughout his career, regardless of level, he was always great to work with. His attitude was one of whatever is best for the Postal Service.
All right, Larry, I'm making sure. Congratulations on making it to retirement, and good luck on your future endeavors.
Hey, Larry. I always blame Wayne for the pinnacle of my mediocre career, but I think you probably had a lot to do with it as well. Love you, dude.
You're it.
Hey, Larry and Kathy. I just, want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure knowing you all since the mid-'80s, and I consider you all family. I know we've had a lot of parties, especially when Winningham was down here, and still have the barber chair, and I will still relish that and keep that up to condition for future incidents. But we love you all. Take care. Bye.
You're the one who takes my breath away, and you're the one who puts a smile on my face. You're the one who makes me feel so fine, and you're the one who can turn the darkness into light. You're the one who makes my world go round. You're everything I've ever dreamed. You are my field of gold, my wild rose, you are my only hope. You are the one. You are my ray of light on starless nights. You are my rising sun. You are the one. You are the one. You're the one who keeps this love alive. And you're the one who sends a shiver down my spine. You're the one who makes my soul complete. Stay as you are. Stay in my heart. You are my field of gold, my wild rose. You are my only hope. You are the one. You are my ray of light on starless nights. You are my rising sun. You are the one. You are the one.